Welcome back to Ace Run Pro's presentation of the New World Championship. We are in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm Andrew Fish. Aaron Doyle, can you give me a Duval?
I'm sorry I can't do that because I'm a Carolina Panther fan, so, local here in Jacksonville, but I support the Jaguars, but, I'm a diehard Panther fan in the heart.
Well, we all have our flaws. Really excited to bring you coverage of the New World Championship. You see some hot scores out there. Isaac Robinson, Garrett Gurthie, both on this card, but Ezra Robinson and Martin Neese are fixing to put up a number that everyone else is trying to match.
Martin Neese, Georgia boy back in Augusta, Georgia, near my hometown in North Augusta, came in town Thursday night and got one little practice round in, and he's killing it.
Hey, that's great.
Hole 10, par 4, 780 feet. This one, you see the ditch right there. Most players, you're gonna see it, they're just gonna throw over the ditch. You have the OB on the right side. Keep it left and over the ditch. As you see the golf green, that is all OB, sand bunkers is safe. Very common on the second shot, you'll see discs landing right on the hill, kind of skipping down, rolling down a little bit.
Certainly had a tailwind here. A little bit of a crowd that had been watching tee shots here all day. And they told us that if you throw the shot of the day, we'll let you know. Love to see some power players here give it a big rip.
The wind on this hole is pretty ideal. Garrett just smashing it out there.
Yeah, pushes it out to the right side, but lands back center.
With this tailwind, expect some four smashes. Well, anti-flex by Isaac. It's well over the ditch.
Not quite the same distance as Garrett. He might have gone FX2 there instead of full distance driver.
Ezra known for putting out those bombs.
Yeah, flips a nuke, pushes straight. That does go a little bit left. And we had somebody on our card find out of bounds. I had no idea there was out of bounds on the left. Connor, direct driven line, pushes it right side.
These guys are going to have a solid fairway, overstable fairway, hyzer up shot from there.
Maybe even a mid from Isaac. It's interesting to me that he seems much more comfortable throwing a slower disc on a direct line than swinging a hyzer.
I've noticed he likes to throw about good 90 to 100% power on those mid-range shots.
Do you think that's a function of, where he grew up playing and, throwing a lot of wood shots?
Yeah, just like in golf, you have the full swing, full hit, more comfortable hitting gaps, hitting his lines.
You compare that to guys like Ezra or Connor who seem to be a little bit more comfortable playing the overstable hyzer out to the right.
Right, and as they're throwing that hyzer, they could also get a little more on it too, a little higher, a little wider.
Garrett goes big spike. I imagine that's a Firebird or something comparable.
Some good second shots from these guys. Isaac just circles edge. Nice putt there.
Yeah, that putt is such a big safety net. Like, for a lot of folks, if they land 30 feet away after a relatively open approach shot, you're wondering why you didn't put it closer.
Yeah, especially on the second shot. It's a little uphill, so it plays a little longer than you expect.
I guess that's the subtlety that, you might notice as the local, but folks who haven't gotten more than a couple practice rounds in here are going to miss.
That's why nice putt there by Connor. That's why with Isaac, he threw the mid-range, and he throws further than I do, but I step up to a fairway because I know just trying to get it over that hill is the main thing. But he has no problem getting the birdie.
Right. You can't quite see the base of the basket, which at times can be a little bit of an illusion. You kind of have to reference that the trees behind are, 25 feet.
There'll be times where you throw a shot, you think you're parked, and you're 25 short putting from downhill, so nice putt there by Garrett. For these guys, this is definitely one of the more gettable holes. Or one of the ones you want to get. Good birdie there by Ezra. Nice star frame.
And we're going to change the tone completely. We go from several big open tee shots in a row to a pretty claustrophobic 11th now.
This one, I'm surprised by how easy this next hole played. Because like you said, you're throwing hard open shots and you come to this tight technical hole, hole 11. It's a par 3, 263 feet. It's right there, you have to hit the gap, but it could be daunting knowing by how many times you have to throw open shots.
Yeah.
There's really no trouble on this hole, apparently the woods, but you see the cart path that's behind the basket. I don't see these guys going to be cooking anything past this basket. Most drives land about 20, 25 short.
Yeah, we're probably looking at mid-ranges or putters thrown to drift from left to right late in the flight.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Garrett, one of his beloved Color Glow Rock 3s.
Right on cue, just like you said, a little hyzer flip. A little long, circle's edge.
Another really nicely done elevated green, red mulch. Nice little coarse touch.
I really like it because beforehand it was sand, and they're like, let's give a little pizzazz with this mulch, and it looks very professional. As you see Isaac just straight parking this hole.
Isaac's too good to be getting kicks like that.
Right. Sometimes better to be lucky than good, right? But in his cases, he's good. So
it's both.
Yeah,
both.
Exactly.
Ezra low and driven. That's gonna burn into the ground. Probably a straight layup with the angle to the cart path beyond.
You think he's gonna lay it up? You think he's gonna go for it, considering how he started from the front nine?
I don't know. I mean, it's round 1 of the tournament. He knows he's 2 down. If he's checking scores, he knows that he's not out of it. But Isaac and Garrett are threatening to run away on this card at least. With another 43 holes of the event, do you panic yet?
No, not at all. I'd say he's doing just fine. There's plenty more birdies left to be desired out here. He's giving it height. He's giving it a bit.
Yikes.
Fine, he's got to tap in 3. Garrett for the birdie. Solid putt, dead center.
And Garrett with that, very hyzery up to down style of putting, he can be all the way on. He can also be all the way off. Watch out field if he's on.
Yeah, especially in this wind, if you see Garrett's hyzer putt going in these winds, you better watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the hyzer putt's not very favorable in the wind.
Yeah, if he's on the correct side of the basket, he can turn everything into a tailwind putt. But if he has to expose the face, it's a lot different than that direct spin putt that Isaac has.
What could we have here?
Fancy stuff here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good quality, super stiff, pretty grippy too, I would say.
I think I would throw every disc in this plastic.
I've had some messages of people asking like, "Hey, are you still trying to be the pro? Are you, or what is your goal for the next couple of years? Like, when are you going to win again?" Basically, that question. So, yeah, tapping that win in just felt like, there you go, to all the friends and fans and everyone who supported me throughout the last couple of years.
Hole 12, par 3, 400 feet. This is one of the tougher par 3s on the course. Like I said, 400 feet, very low ceiling. Thank you, Flight Factory, for the drone footage here. You're gonna see backhand rollers. Be wary of the cart path that's on the left, anything cart path beyond, so be. And you're also gonna see some power sidearms if you have that, if you have 400 foot distance on your sidearm. And also the low ceiling backhand skip. What do you do on this hole, Fish?
Throw it and hope.
Throw it and hope?
I went with the low ceiling backhand yesterday. It seemed like the best way to fight the wind. Garrett's going to go roller, and I like this play. It makes the disc move right late. He certainly has enough control to keep it in bounds. This looks like maybe a mid, maybe a fairway, FX4, something like that.
Just looking at the trees, it looks like the wind's kind of died down on this part of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you have this 400-foot forehand, it is absolutely the play. Ezra is not ever really going to get it flat. Consequently, that just travels to the right side to a circle 2 look.
No, he's on the edge, but he's leaving himself 40 feet. Definitely a look for a birdie.
And that's kind of been the narrative of his round, I think. Like he's not playing badly, he's just not scoring.
On this course, if your drives are good and you're not putting well, you can still put up a decent score.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not driving well and you're putting good, you could not put up such a good score. So drives on this course is very, very crucial.
Yeah, absolutely a thrower's course because of, how much open space and distance it requires. Good look from Connor.
Garrett's about circle's edge. Ooh,
A little
50
further.
feet outside.
Oh
Solid
my.
putt.
Love how early he knew that. Like, this is so high.
Thing is, he knows his putt so well and he's blocking for it. There you go. It's a nice little fist pump there. Great putt by Garrett.
Just keeping it rolling.
Little pull tapper by Isaac. Yeah, nice catch there by Ezra.
Elevator down.
So where Ezra was at, like, really not that bad. I know he can hit those straddle jumpers all day long, so great birdie by Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Connor tapping it in. Looking fresh in that pink today. Little tap in by Isaac.
Yeah, pars and birdies, that's just fine on this hole. And as we move on to 13, pretty similar scoring profile, pretty similar, way to play the hole.
Personally, my least favorite hole in the course because I can never get it underneath this limb. Hole 13, par 3, 382 feet. Low ceiling gap. That tree is like everybody's kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
You have to throw it so perfectly low. You need the distance to hyzer flip it. OB all on the left side. It requires a very good shot to get close on this hole. Some people even been throwing sidearms and getting up there.
I think that makes sense to run away from the out of bounds late.
If you have the power sidearm, you can get up there. And some people I've even seen lay up with the sidearm and get the easy 3.
Interesting. Garrett going back to that roller. Test the branch. This seems like it's going to get to circle's edge and kind of burn out. Okay, 45 feet again.
There's nothing wrong with that shot whatsoever. That's what I'm talking about right here. Get a little hyzer flip up.
Wow.
Yeah, great shot by Ezra. He has that sidearm distance. Did it beautifully. When you birdie this one feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Isaac rarely goes roller, rarely goes forehand. And I think the straight backhand is super challenging here.
You have to worry about it fading off over that cart path, and it's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy to get away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Very technical shot. See Connor here with the big sidearm. Great shot.
Yeah, Connor and Ezra showing that that's the optimal way to do this.
Right off the top for Isaac. Good run.
And even for a Friday, we had a good little gallery following the top couple cards here. Jacksonville has really shown out for the Pro Tour coming.
Everyone's faces, especially the disc golf communities that are in town, as soon as the Silver Series was going to be a thing in Jacksonville, they were all excited about it. They didn't want to come out and show some love. Right side chain out from Isaac.
Yeah, and got to imagine that with even sunnier and calmer days, Saturday and Sunday.
You best believe they're going to come out in full force.
Right?
Jacksonville loves showing the love.
Mm-hmm. Connor also in for birdie. I imagine we'll see Garrett get in here for par, but Isaac with the rare slip up on the putting green.
Yeah, was not expecting that. I know he's kicking himself for it, but he's really good at bouncing back.
And sometimes those skips off the top of the basket are a real killer.
Yes, yes. You expect to have a 5-foot cleanup, instead you have a 25-foot comeback. These are knee knockers, especially for par. You got Garrett at 8 under, Isaac at 7, Connor and Ezra at 4.
Yeah, don't look now, but both those guys are on a pretty good roll after some sluggish starts.
Yeah, on this course, anything can happen. Hole 14, par 5, 1,040 feet. Mando right off the tee, but the main thing is getting out the gap. There's a cart path to the right. As you see on most of these holes, anything cart path and beyond is going to be OB. But just keep it left. Even keeping it too far left in these woods, or in those woods, can be very tricky. I'm surprised by how hard this one played today.
Yeah, you can't get a whole lot off the tee. It was playing into a headwind initially. I imagine we'll see fairway drivers, possibly distance drivers, flat or hyzer.
Ezra just showing everybody how it's done right there. It's the ideal position.
Yeah, but still, only 350. I don't like the turn that this has. It needs to slow down. Yeah, but fortunately it's a fairway driver. Garrett high and nose up into the gap. That can only go left on the end. And perhaps too far left. We'll see what kind of lie he's got.
Those are the tricky spots where you're just on the edge. Because once you get out of the gap, you want some decent distance on your second shot.
Right. I think the second shot is the real key here.
For sure.
Your first one determines whether you're going to take a birdie, a par, possibly worse. The second one is the one that decides whether your birdie or par is going to be easy or tricky.
Because even the third shot on this hole can be tricky, especially if you have about 350-foot look.
Right. Connor, perhaps without a good wind read, just goes super overstable. Pushes all the way back to the left side.
If you try to get too aggressive on this, you could definitely push one over to the right side. But it looks like these guys are just make sure it's staying safe to the left.
Mm-hmm. There's 4 par 5s on this course. Relatively high par as courses go. Does your success on the course as a whole hinge on the par 5s, or is it something else?
I say definitely for the par 5s, you have to make sure you get the birdies on them.
Mm-hmm.
With the par 3s are the tougher part of the course, for sure. If you get 1 or 2 of the par 3s, you're like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Sure.
But yeah, par 4s and par 5s, that's definitely where you score on the red course.
So Garrett is at least 400 feet away, forced to go to a forehand after 2 kind of awkward lies.
So that's a risky shot from there, but
he makes the acceptable mistake by pushing it to the left. But I hope on his 4th, he doesn't have anything in his backswing.
Yeah, and also the cart path's about 30 feet from the basket.
I think it's closer at its closest
closer?
point. Isaac, not quite willing to hang it all the way over. He's going to be left with 45 for his birdie look. Connor, close enough to go slow disc. Pushes it out wide right, but even that's going to drift far left of the basket. Far might be an overstatement. Just killed in the sand.
Looking good from Ezra.
Yeah, good
So
little
right there.
zone control shot. And I think that's why the second shot is so key. Isaac had to go a faster disc, which means that there's going to be, more play in the air, more ground play. Connor and Ezra being able to throw like 3 or 4 speed discs into the green enables them to have a lot more control over where it goes, where it lands, how it finishes.
Yeah, the second shot's definitely detrimental. And see Ezra just made the sidearm up shot look very routine.
Mm-hmm. But really no harm, no foul. Like Garrett and Isaac, they're going to take their pretty easy pars, and they've done enough work at this point that they didn't have to take a risk once they got in a little bit of an awkward position. Like the little flare as he picks up.
Give it a little flash. Yeah, everyone's playing, picking it up on this back half.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 15, par 3, 275 feet. So this is an island hole. Anything that misses the island goes to the drop zone. Also, it is a double mando. So not only do you have to make the island, you have to make the mando. So anything that goes off of the island or misses the mando, straight to the drop zone.
Straight to drop zone.
Straight to a drop zone.
Just like Fred Armisen would say. This hole is impossible. Impossible. There were 54% bogeys, about 35% birdies. And I know when I played it, it was a pretty stiff right to left wind, which made any backhand want to kind of get picked up and push left.
The play is you have to hit the left mando tree and kick in bounds by a foot. That's the play.
Tell me you didn't do that.
I did do that, and I ended up getting the birdie.
It's very embarrassing for you, but birdies are good. So Ezra throws a pretty good distance control shot, but pushes it too far right. We'll see if Connor can school up on that. No, he cannot.
This hole's very tough, especially with the wind they were playing in. It's very, very touchy. Needs to stay up. Oh, just hits the top. And that can happen. You throw it a little too low, the wind will drop it down right there. That might have to get up too. I think that one's fine.
Isaac goes full power with a putter, which I think was a better play. Everyone else, I believe, was throwing mid-ranges and trying to, slow and control it.
Whoa, nice run.
Good look.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was nice.
So it's wild that, this feature card, very talented. Everybody's kind of on a roll at this point. 3 out of 4 out of bounds. 15 when you're going good or when it's calm feels like the easiest hole in the world. The mandos are 50 feet wide. The island is generous. But it does kind of get in your head.
Do you think it's because most of the course is fairly, lengthy, and then once you come to an island hole with double mandos, with a little bit of wind, you have to throw a touchy putter or mid-range shot?
I think it can operate that way. Sometimes it's difficult to go from the, big driver, play stability, make it go far. It's hard to adjust to, just having like the clean spin where you're trying to regulate your angle, your distance control. You can't just sling a hyzer into this green. Yeah,
it definitely has to be a straight, low beamer. If you get too low, you hit the top of the signs.
Mm-hmm. As we come down the stretch here, we see Isaac grab another birdie. He's gaining at least 2 strokes on his card. Ezra very frustrated, taking a double. And it happens. It happens pretty quick. You just have to shrug it off and move on to 16, where there's not that much danger. And your last simple birdie opportunity.
It's a straight gap shot. When your typical wood shots, hole 16, par 3, 240 feet, you're gonna see putter hyzer flips. Yeah, this one, you know, just don't hit early, because once you hit early, it's a tough upshot. You see those palms to the right; those things can be sneaky.
Yeah, no out of bounds really to speak of unless you juice it super long. The initial gap is not a challenge, but then there's a set of field goals later to hit.
Those trees right there.
Those are the ones, yeah. Those very trees. Connor, if this drifts, it won't. He and Isaac gonna have to putt from 100. Garrett back to that Color Glow Rock 3. Even though it's flippy, he's not gonna get enough flip out of it.
All three of them throwing the same shot. I mean, they're more than 3/4 down the fairway, so they can get up and down for their easy pars. But I know these guys are looking for birdie.
And Ezra gonna pull it. I feel like this is also a very momentum-based hole. You know, if you've scored on the last couple, it looks easy and inviting. But if you just took a bogey or worse on 15, there's the added pressure of trying to make that stroke up.
Feeling a little irritated, you're wanting to hit a gap, and then you just pull it just a little bit or barely miss it. Definitely be demoralizing.
Connor looks like he's taking a bid at it.
See, like I said, it's like they made it 3/4 down the fairway, so at least they can get up and down for the easy par. This is a little tricky shot. This right side's sneaky hard.
Yeah, wow.
Tree.
There must have been really nothing there. And a wild angle.
That was an amazing run. Who would have been loving that?
Ezra mentioned he didn't quite know what his off-season plans were going to be. This is probably his last tournament of the year, but he was at least going to go to Charlotte for a little bit, get some woods practice in. And, well, sorry, buddy. A lot of the holes are going to look a lot like this, 240 and straight and full of trees. Garrett with...
That could have easily stayed in,
Yeah,
too.
what's going on with that? Connor for the cleanup. We're going to see a couple of bogsters here.
Some frustration on that putt right there.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably so.
We'll go from short controlled putter type shot into big hyzer.
Big hyzer with a left to right wind, which makes it really tough. Hole 17. Another long par 3, 426 feet. As you see, there's a landing zone that's all on the right side of the cart path right here. And what you're going to see mostly is guys land in the big area from the front of the ditch right there to the right side of the wall. With the left to right wind, it is tough to get that push to the left. So I'm expecting guys to be about as close as 40 feet maybe.
Perhaps.
At this time, the wind's probably down a little bit so they get a little more aggressive.
Yeah. Plays a big hyzer over the crepe myrtles. And there you are at 40 feet.
Great shot. He pushed up a little high, got a little more aggressive on it, but he has plenty of distance to get there.
Connor, you see the vision of what he's trying to do as he draws the disc across his face. That lifts, and it certainly goes left enough. Did it get far enough? Yes.
Inside circle. Great shot by Connor.
Garrett's never seen a hyzer he didn't like. And looks like he goes a slightly flippier disc to try to get some glide and ride out of it.
15 feet?
Yeah, inside the circle.
Amazing.
And ditto, never seen a hyzer he didn't like.
It's identical to Garrett's. It's outside circle. It's in his little stepper range.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps the low ceiling didn't enable Isaac to get his like high falling putt.
Go Ezra. Get back on track. See, he's frustrated. Definitely aggravated the way the last 2 holes went, but getting a birdie will, you know, ease it a little bit.
Yep.
Great putt by Connor. This is a very, very nice birdie to get.
Yeah, certainly separates the... Wow, Garrett.
Straight chain cut through.
Can't tell if he's looking at the basket or if there was a distraction in the background. This one really separates the players who have power. Like if you can throw this full big hyzer and keep it on one angle, this is a relatively straightforward hole.
Right.
If not, you know, you're liable to have to work for your 3.
See, Garrett at 6, Isaac at 8, Connor at 5, Ezra at 3.
It was important for me to partner with a retailer that could help with growing my brand and making my products available all over the country and across the world. Flight Factory has helped me accomplish that. Check out all of my gear and thousands of other discs at Flight Factory.
Hole 18, final hole, par 5, 984 feet. Thank you, Flight Factory, for this drone footage right here. As you see, there are 2 Mandos right off the bat you have to stay left of. The green's OB, and as you're coming up towards the last stretch of this hole, there is a 3rd Mando. Definitely the Mandos. The first 2, not so tough to stay left of, but it's the 3rd Mando that could be a little tricky, especially on your second shot.
Right, that if you can't set yourself with an angle to this green, you really take birdie out of play.
I wish they knew just
You'll
how to
see on
make
the
like good discs. You know? I feel like a lot of companies just don't know. Or like, yeah, if you're gonna like, if you like think the profit margins aren't there for certain plastic, then maybe be like a bad.
Like hearing that little insider talk. This seems like a pretty chill card to be on, and sometimes these late season tournaments like are really good for that. Like the pressure's off. You know, you don't feel like you have to perform. This counts to 2023, not 2022.
And that's when you see a lot of the people playing their best golf is when they're relaxed, knowing they could execute shots and feeling comfortable. As you see Connor laying down a perfect roller.
A lot of different options off this tee. We see roller, we see a forehand. I imagine we're going to see 2 more backhands. Possibly Garrett will go roller. Key here is just get some distance off the tee.
Yeah, with the roller play, it's like you want to get past that second Mando, and once you do, it's free reign to just have a nice second layup past the 3rd Mando.
Yeah. Evident disgust from Isaac as he doesn't really attempt to hit the fairway with his first. Garrett.
Got away from him a good bit. Garrett clipping a little foliage on the ground, but...
Good angle initially, but the bottom just got kicked out of that disc as soon as it landed.
That right side, it opens up a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine we're going to see 4 hyzers over the green for this second. And then you have to wind back surprisingly far to the left to open up the gap.
So you see Isaac's shot right here. That's perfect because there's 2 pine trees there just to the left from the film. That is the ideal landing zone. You see this green, or the golf green. That is OB, but I don't see these guys going
No,
Go no beyond that.
green's not dangerous.
Mostly off the tee if you
Right.
rip one.
Everyone's taking care to be far left on the second shot. Ezra with perhaps a little bit more aggressive angle does make the Mando, and that sets him up inside 200 for a pretty playable third.
Sidearm's a very aggressive shot, but if you push it a little deep like he did, that you get the dead center shot.
Connor plays the flex shot. And once again, set up for a pretty playable approach.
If it was about 10 feet a little further, I'd say that'd be just fine.
Mm-hmm. And from a pretty bad tee shot to a pretty doable, well, sort of doable, circle 2 look for his birdie.
And that bunker is not OB. All bunkers this weekend are not OB.
Kind of unusual for how most golf course type disc golf plays.
Right.
Connor back to the forehand, swings it wide. I like the power. This seems like good distance.
Oh, right off the pole. This could be a nice way to get a birdie right there.
Yeah. Just kind of kill all your speed by hitting the lock. Garrett, a little bit of an abbreviated swing.
Get over that bunker. Nicely done.
We'll be left with a circle's edge putt to potentially go to 7 down. Thus far, 8 has been the hot score in the clubhouse. A couple players sitting at that.
Know where Ezra's at. That is very close to be throwing 3.
Yeah.
That is very close.
This man must be stopped. What is he doing?
He's a putting machine, man. Just confidence and...
The sand doesn't affect him. The downhill run doesn't affect him. Nicely done. That'll leave Isaac as the clubhouse leader at 9 down.
Incredible.
Garrett just kind of a balloon.
Yeah, Garrett having the last 3 holes, his putt's getting away from him a little bit. Good birdie there by Connor. A little low right side, but it stayed. Even though Garrett had some blemishes, 6 down, he's definitely in it. Pretty much all these guys are in it, wouldn't you say, Fish?
Yeah, Isaac with the lead. Connor and Garrett are going to be back on Ace Run Pro's coverage for the chase card tomorrow in round 2 out of 3. You know, they had a little bit of unevenness, but they put together really solid rounds. Ezra, we saw some great highlights after a relatively slow start. Got to be proud of all these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They showed a lot of good stuff out there today, and can't win it on the first day, but you can certainly lose it, and all these guys are definitely in contention.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to see Isaac, Paul, Ezra, and Luke Sampson. Isaac and Ezra becoming the first pair of brothers to be on a lead card together at a DGPT event.
Play a lot of tournaments with Ezra, and yeah, that brother package, they are something to behold, so I'm excited to see how they play. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, Fish. I had a great time today, and glad we got to watch some disc golf on my home track. For sure. And thank you to Ace Run Pro for filming. Please make sure you support the folks who support them, whether that's Patreon, whether that's going to their vendors. For Aaron Doyle, I'm Andrew Fish, and we'll see you in round 2 on Ace Run Pro. Later, guys.